Let's start with the prompt. Which choice best describes data from the table that supports the researcher's claim? So what's the researcher's claim? A group of researchers conducted a study to determine how quickly different languages are typically spoken and how much information they can convey. They found that although languages vary widely in the speed at which they're spoken, the amount of information they can effectively convey tends to vary much less. Thus, they claim that two languages with very different spoken rates can nonetheless convey the same amount of information in a given amount of time. So let's look at that last part again. Two languages with very different spoken rates at different speeds still nonetheless convey the same amount of information. So that's not what you would think. You maybe would imagine that people speaking faster are saying more, but here it actually says they're conveying the same amount of information. So where do we see that in the table? We see two that are right around 7. Actually, we need to find different ones with the same amount of information. So do any of these two numbers match up here? Well, these two are both around 45. And these two are both around 34 here, 34, 35. But for the Spanish and Vietnamese, the rates are very different. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Spanish and Vietnamese because they both have roughly the same speed. They both have, different speeds and roughly the same amount of information. So let's look at the answers. Among the 5 languages, Thai and Hungarian have the lowest rates of speech and the lowest rates of information. That doesn't really match what the text says. Vietnamese conveys information at approximately the same rate as Spanish, despite being spoken at a slower rate. That was the one that I pointed out in my own words. And so that's perfect. Even though they're at different rates, they convey roughly the same amount of information. That's exactly what you're looking for. So the answer here is B.